Zoe, to get us started on the nut episode, I'm going to do some linguine with a bit of pesto and some pistachio nuts in there and pine nuts that have been toasted nicely. Now, to start with, because the pasta, of course, takes the longest, I've got my pot of boiling water here and a nice amount of salt, enough salt to make...
Look how that bubble intensifies and the heat comes up so quickly.
It does. The salt actually drops the boiling point of the water for a couple of degrees for a short amount of time, but that's something else. In goes the pasta, and what I'll do is I'll just stir that around for a second. Now, I do have a lid, which I pop on the pasta sometimes to keep it or get it back up to the boil quickly. Yeah. If you do pop the lid on it and it does boil quickly, it can sort of flow over. You know, it foams up and goes over. So
someone told me a good trick that what you do is that you put a wooden spoon like that. Just on the edge like that. Yeah, on the edge like that, and it stops it boiling over as quickly.
There we go. And it can tell us when it's ready. Yeah. There we go.
So you can go off and do the 23 other things you're trying to do as you're cooking.
We'll pop that on there, and you're going to do 20 other things. You're going to make the pesto. Pine nuts there.
I don't know why I said 23.
The pine nuts there.
Always in my head.
Pesto. I've got some parmesan in there. We've got some garlic there, some basil, some extra virgin olive oil, and a cheese grater this time for you to grate the cheese. If you can pop it all in there and start making the pesto.
I'll start with the garlic then.
And we will do something a little bit kinky with the pesto. We'll put some pistachio nuts in it as well.
I like that. A bit sweeter.
And even kinkier, we could also put some of the rocket that I've got up the front there. You can chop some of that through there. While you're doing that, I've got a lovely long red chilli here. And what I'll do with this is slice it down the middle and take the seeds out of it. You know what? I think we'll leave the seeds in it. We'll have it nice and hot. What do you think of that?
Well, I always like spicy food.
Good. Well, I'm going to slice it all the way through and keep the seeds in it. And I found one of your pistachios that has just gone off the...
I noticed that.
Gone wayward there. And I've got a red onion here. I'm just going to slice that all the way through here, so nice and fine and julienne. Now, you could use whatever herbs you want. If you wanted to put parsley in there as well, or some thyme, or just about anything you could go in there. Now, I've got a garlic clove. Just give that a crush and a rough sort of chop all the way through. I like chunky bits of garlic. Now, I've got some extra virgin olive oil here, and my pan's nice and hot. Big splush of this because the oil is great. It makes part of the sauce as well. There we go.
Basil smells amazing.
It does, and that's the live basil. It's still live in that pot there, so you can probably hear it screaming just a little bit as you blitz it up. Oh, it's not like that. It won't feel a thing. Now, I've got some bacon here, and this is lovely streaky bacon from the belly. You could use pancetta if you wanted, prosciutto. You could use the lean bacon from the eye of the bacon if you wanted to. But I like a little bit of fat. And what I've done is I've cut it nice and thick like this, and I'll cut it into nice sort of little cubes so that the bacon disperses itself evenly throughout the linguine dish. There we go. I'll throw that in there as well. The idea is that when I put it all together, all the flavours come through together and, you know, sort of mingle, and the bacon caramelises, the onions caramelise, the garlic, and the chilli sort of all blends together, so we've got some lovely flavour there. Now, back over to my pasta. I like that idea of putting the spoon under the lid. I'll just give it another stir, and you can see it's coming together well and it's not sticking together. Now, what I do is I sometimes use the same spoon for the pasta as whatever I'm stirring, because as I stir each other, I put them into the pot and sort of flavour each other.
Permeate that flavour through.
That's right. Now, you can go a little bit crazy with that. I'll put plenty of oil in there because we want to make sure the pesto's well lubricated, because you're going to hit that with the bar mix in a second and you're going to make it into a nice puree. And what I'm going to do is toss this off a little bit. I will add a little bit of salt in there, just a tiny bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. There we go. You can see why I've got you to do that job. It's going to splash everywhere.
I've got it in front of me. I want to get it on my beautiful dress.
There we go. Just give that a blitz up. You can see it's coming together. It's a beautiful little pesto. Now, I've got some parsley here, some continental parsley, flat leaf parsley, my favourite parsley in the entire world, and I use heaps of parsley. I love the stuff. There we go. Give that a bit of a chop like that, nice and rough through the middle. Now, all we have to do is wait for this to cook a little bit, and our pasta to cook, and we'll be able to bring it all together. Okay, so we've got some chopped rocket here, parsley chopped ready to go. I'm going to throw them straight into the pan straight away.
That.
What I do is I put the herbs or the rocket in there. I know it does pop a little bit. I'll turn the gas off. I put it in the bottom, so with the pasta, I just put that straight on top, and I'll just... There we go.
Beautiful. It's a bit like, you know, I mean, the freshness of those herbs in the rocket. You know, I love bacon, but it kind of balances the bacon and the oily richness.
Now, what I'll do is give that some more pepper. I just love pepper and pasta together. and some salt on there.
I've got the pesto here ready to go.
I'm going to bring that over to you. I'm going to toss it here away from you so I don't get this oil all over your lovely dress. There we go. Spoon probably, that's it.
Yeah.
Just a touch more, that's it. Beautiful.
It smells really good, this pesto.
Oh, it smells fantastic. And it looks great as well. Let's give that a... Just
I keep going in because I want to smell it.
Just stand back on this one. I'm just warning you with that now. I'll just use my tongs. I'll do what most normal people do. Just gently fold that around. And what I'm trying to do, Zoe, is mix it together without chopping up the pasta.
And as soon as you put the heat through that pesto, you can smell the parmesan, you can smell the basil, the nuts are shining out. Pretty.
Now, Zoe, I've got some goat's cheese there.
Yep.
If you want to sprinkle some of that on, and I'll reach over you like this and grab some of this pesto and just drizzle a couple of bits on top, because the pesto is, of course, the hero here with the nuts in it. There we go. What do you think of that, Zoe?
I love it.
Oh, I can't wait to dig into this. I love pasta and linguine with pesto and bacon and chilli and nuts in there. A lot of things in there, but I think it's going to taste really nice. What do you think, Zoe?
You know what? I love the nuts in there. It's really, really delicious. A bit rich, but, you know, rich-o-rich makes sense, doesn't it?